Boy, this was almost a podcast that never was.
Right? Well, you would have had to pull it from the video file.
Oh, wow. I literally turned around as the intro was rolling and realized I hadn't hit record.
Oh. Hello, and welcome to episode 31 of the WHISKIEE Podcast. I'm Chudata.
I'm Nate Fu.
And it's been a bit.
It's been, I think we're 1 week behind schedule at this point.
Yeah.
So
quite a bit has happened during then. If you are lucky enough to be watching and listening to this live, you can see the fancy new transitions and assets provided and designed by Dizzy.
Mm-hmm. Our good friend Dizzy DLO and his wife went through and basically gave us a whole new branding package for the podcast, for the website. Gave you a nifty new...
Got a fancy new logo myself.
Right, little avatar.
Uh-huh. And, I mean, this is all part of what we've talked about, of the brand new, debuffed ad and everything that goes with it.
Yep.
Of which the podcast is probably our most developed, so...
Yeah, it's the easiest one to do, honestly. Other than the editing part.
Yeah.
That can be a little bit of a pain.
That's taken you a bit of time lately.
Yeah.
So, before we jump into that, though... why don't we let the good folks at home know what we are drinking?
All right. First
Maybe
off,
show off.
Let's say ahoy also to Skycap, who's sitting in chat.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Thank you for joining us. All right. So what we are drinking tonight is... Today.
G'day.
See, I'm all screwed up, and we'll get into that. Is a Heaven's Door cask strength bourbon whiskey, straight bourbon whiskey. And, I just took a sip of this while we were introing here, and holy cow, that is turpentine.
Oh, good.
It is a mix from Total Wine and More that they put together, and it is a 61.8% alcohol by volume, so this is 123 proof.
So that's flammable.
Yeah. This is literally turpentine, and it almost tastes like it, but... I've had flammable whiskey before. This doesn't. This goes down really good, like almost like a really good Everclear.
Okay.
Right. If it's
I will
done,
take my sip now.
If it's done wrong, it burns going down and coming back out. If it's done right.
Oh, that burns going down, but
right. But it's 120 proof, right?
So talk to me a bit. To educate those at home that may not be as aware. When we say flammable whiskey and proof, why is that the case? What's involved with it?
Really, really strong alcohol content. I believe anything over 100 to 110 proof, depending on the process, is a point at which it becomes flammable.
Mm-hmm. And why is that a point?
What do you mean?
Why is proof a thing? Like, why is it called proof?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I don't have any notes for this. I
I
don't remember this off the top of my head.
The old wives' tale for that is that, if you were a sailor back in the day, you would get a certain amount of alcohol, rum or other spirits,
right,
as part of your pay. And to make sure that it wasn't diluted enough, they would set it on fire.
Right.
To prove...
they would soak gunpowder.
Soak gunpowder in it.
And if the gunpowder still lit, it was not good.
Right. So that's kind of where that comes from. So when we talk proof and flammability, that's legitimate.
Oh, and see, I'm just talking about it from the old high school, college experimentation days of flaming Dr. Peppers and all sorts of wonderful drinks.
They have different terms for that kind of experimentation these days. But I appreciate that you're being so open about it.
But yeah, no, I have had plenty of bad luck with anything wild turkey, Everclears, all sorts of bourbon, scotch, and what was the other one that's typically 110 proof?
Well, also we have the Lost Spirits distillery stuff that is all like 160 proof or whatever.
Yeah, that was Navy strength rum.
Yeah.
That stuff is brutal.
I still have some of the Jamaican rum, I think. That one
was pretty good.
It's amazing, but like a single shot and you are down. Yeah. You are out.
So yeah, that was for you guys, for the audience. I am violating my no flammable rule because I didn't realize it until I poured it and went, what does that proof say?
Yeah.
60. Oh, crap. Okay, well, here we go.
And not going to lie, this is, I want to point out that Facebook marketing can work.
Mm-hmm.
I was hit with this particular brand with ads for like 3 weeks straight. And so when I went to go buy stuff, I'm like, you know what? I keep seeing this. I'm just going to pick up a bottle. It doesn't seem expensive.
Right.
And give it a try. So good job, marketers. We salute you.
Speaking of marketing, we did get this lovely little, and I don't know if it will translate well over the camera.
But you'll see the picture in the show notes.
Right. We now have branded drinkware.
We have branded drinkware. We have branded stickers, hats, logo, shirts, and a bunch of other products that are coming out.
It's not showing in the camera very well. If I put it here with a black background.
Right. So use yourself as the background. Lots of stuff coming with the website. If you're listening here, we will be opening the podcast or the website live next week.
Right.
But we're going to start a formal marketing blitz, including a giveaway starting in October. Yay! So if you're interested, you want to support, you want to potentially win cool things like a set of these Whiskey Podcast branded whiskey glasses,
right?
Then make sure you be on the lookout.
Yeah, these are pretty standard rocks glasses. We were looking in we may be getting the Glencairns, depending on how.
If there's interest, we can even do custom decanters if people are interested. So we'll see what comes of that.
Yep.
Other fun things. This podcast is the first episode that is being restreamed both from Twitch and from YouTube.
Correct.
So we will be doing a lot more content in both areas. It is not our goal, I think, in either case to necessarily become affiliate with Debuff Dad or the Whiskey Podcast or anything like that, but we want to kind of spread out to as many people as possible and reach as many people as possible.
Hey, and if that ever happens, we'll see what the landscape looks like.
Right.
Yeah, because especially with all the stuff going on with Twitch right now and marketing and retaining talent, they may be rethinking.
Why don't we come around to that at the end like we normally do?
Yeah.
But are we done with the updates in business?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's right off the top. Again, big shout out and thank you to Dizzy DLO and Rachel for their excellent work on the site.
Thank you.
And the
for
logos.
Everything. Yep. We can't wait to show it off.
So let's get into it.
All right.
How's life been?
Well, my daughter walked in the other day covered in chocolate and demanded wine. So
you're sure it was chocolate, right?
Well, I'm sure it was chocolate. It was a Starbucks cake pop or a cake pop.
Cake pop? Gotcha.
Yeah, it was Starbucks doing their Korean boy bands. Cake pop, not K-pop. And she came in, and I had poured a glass of wine for myself and for Grammy and Mama Bear because it had been a day already. And she came in, saw that, and reached for it and started saying, "Wine, wine." And I said, "What's all over you?" And she goes, "Chocolate." Like, okay, so as part of Wellness Week at work coming up, there will be a class of chocolate and red wine with Maya.
Oh, you just need to add some cheese to that, and you got the whole.
She provides plenty of cheese. So we've had that. She's 20 months, not even 20 months yet, and she has a larger vocabulary than most 2.5, 3-year-olds I know.
Yep.
And between that and your daughters, your oldest today, from what I hear, was apparently talking about virology and viruses and vaccinations and science behind all of them, based off of a YouTube spiral she went down.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's. I think that kind of sums up the kids. What else you got?
Yeah,
going
no,
on
that
with them?
was funny. We actually went down that YouTube spiral the other day. It was, we're watching one thing. Yeah, it's YouTube, the algorithm. One thing leads to another, and eventually you're watching porn. But we ended
That's
up
what
on
the internet
this.
is for.
Exactly. We ended up on this science channel out of, I want to say, Germany. And they were just really interesting, really cleverly animated videos. And it was just like, it caught Brooke's attention in a flash. So we ended up watching through about 8 of the videos. And they're really well put together. I was surprised. But in the amount of retention she has from these now, it just is absurd. We'll have random conversations 4 days later on something she watched a 30-second video on, and she'll be able to recite it from memory and recall it like in an instant. And it's scary.
Yeah.
Had a conversation with the wife. I want to say either I don't remember if it was last night or this morning. It couldn't have been this morning. My idea of this morning. Brooke's going to be starting kindergarten soon. Hi.
We've got a special guest. We've got Mama Bear. Your shoes are not in here. And our special guest has left. Goodbye. So we've got your super smart oldest. Your youngest seems to be going through, as your wife and I call it, a Wednesday Addams phase. She doesn't want to draw butterflies. She wants to draw cobwebs. She doesn't want to draw a circle. She wants to draw a flat tire. Particularly a flat tire. And I mean, I'm here for it. I love it.
Right.
But she's definitely got that vibe going. And the whole judgment face is, something that she's inherited from her mom and her auntie and her
my favorite little quirk that she does is when you ask her to do something and she doesn't want to, is the never, and then turns around and runs away.
I just like how she, starts spitting our words back at us. No, I do not want to do that now.
Right. This is not an option.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's hard to be angry and, respond or anything like that when you're personally laughing your ass off.
Yeah, when your 3-year-old looks at you and goes, "We are not negotiating." Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and they say, there's parents who go, "Don't baby talk your children. It will not serve them well in their future."
Yeah,
and then there are
I kind of
days
feel
that
like don't talk to them as adults because they're already, teenagers at this point.
At this point, I would love just goo goo gaga to come out of their mouth.
Yeah. But, my little Ewok has been there's a term that goes around for people that have one kid or multiple kids, and it's called the trick baby.
Yes.
And so what is a trick baby? A trick baby is the baby who works, perfectly nice and happy and everything works out. I'm like, oh, no, this isn't a problem whatsoever. That's usually your first kid.
Right.
The
Because
second
it
kid
tricks
has to
you
make
into
up
having
for
the
it.
second one. Yeah.
The second kid makes up for it.
Mm-hmm.
My kid apparently decided the other day in the middle of daycare, she was tired. So she just, left the group, went up to her mat and put herself to sleep.
Right. Good luck getting her to do that around here.
Oh, no, she does it here fine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at night, we're like, okay, we're going to read a story. And she's like, one more. I'm like, okay, fine. One more story, and then you go to bed. And she goes to sleep.
She's starting that now, huh?
Uh-huh.
Ugh.
And, the oldest was like that to a certain degree as well.
Still is.
Yeah, I am terrified of my second. Because we still plan on trying for a second. And that kid is going to be a demon spawn if any of this sort of karma levels out.
And it will be the only boy in the family. Watch. You
Probably,
watch.
which I feel so sorry for that kid. As the two only guys in this family, we empathize in advance.
Oh, man.
What?
Skycap Runner is now following you.
Why, hello, Skycap Runner.
Welcome to the family.
So that's our area with the kids.
Yeah, that's with the kids. I'm now officially 2 weeks into this new graveyard shift that I had mentioned in the last episode. I believe that went out, right?
Last episode went out.
Hey, we actually got one out before we recorded one. Woohoo!
Yeah, it's a good start. We're trying to be consistent.
Yeah, so got back from PAX, immediately started a graveyard as I bang into my mic. Got back from PAX, immediately started a graveyard shift at night. Well, that's because that's when graveyard shifts are.
Typically, yeah.
From 9 o'clock until 5:30 in the morning. And I was curious to see how I would handle that and how that would affect the day-to-day.
It affected it all right.
Right? The sleeping part isn't so much the issue, at least not on the Monday through Friday.
Dude, you've gotten more sleep than the rest of us combined.
Well, yeah, because I get to sleep while you all are toiling away.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you get a consistent 8 to 10 hours a day.
No, I get consistently 8 now. When you see me sleep 10, it's because I woke up somewhere in the middle of the day because it was 100 and fuck all, and the room got sweltering, and because our Nest Smart Thermostat has 3 years of data on us, and none of that is someone sleeping at home during the day.
Yeah,
it kicks the thermostat up during the day.
I know from that being stay at home at the moment.
So yeah, there have been quite a few times I woke up just drowning in my own body juices, and it's like, oh well, let's kick the thermostat on, and then about an hour and a half later, when the room cools down again.
Thank you for that image. I appreciate that.
Sweaty.
That's why I have to drink this fire.
Sweaty.
This fire wielding whiskey to get it out of my mind.
But yeah, that's it's been an experience because I do like the fact that I get to see the kids more. Surprisingly enough, right? Because now I'm waking up about an hour before or right when they're getting off of school or coming home from daycare, doing their thing, and then we go do dinner. I read stories, I put them to bed, and then I'm out the door and I go to work. I get home just in time for them to wake up first thing in the morning.
Right.
So that's actually been very nice that, I get to spend more time with the kids.
Weekends, however,
because I've been sleeping from, depending on what time, I think when the kids leave, I finally get to sleep. I bet if I'm lucky, I get back to sleep right at 7 o'clock when they leave. Typically it's around 8:30 that I finally knock out. This carries over to the weekend. Because I don't want to screw up my schedule from Monday through Friday by sleeping normal hours on the weekend. I've been staying up to, at least 4 o'clock in the morning, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because my weekends are all screwed up now. But that means I sleep from 7 until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
5 o'clock when we finally send someone to wake you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's the wife.
And the Ewok.
But yeah, so that's been the one downside is, the weekends, the girls have been coming here or going out with your wife and child. I think they're going now. They're leaving for.
They'll be leaving soon this afternoon to go to the farm again.
Right, the farm, not that farm, not the farm where your cats and dogs go.
Yeah, when you retire them out.
Yes,
put it out to pasture. No, the farm where all those cute pictures came from that had the pumpkin patch.
Yes. But yeah, so I guess that's the one downside is like today was an absolute miracle for me to get over here with the time that I did.
It's very true.
A lot of that was on Friday, which is Saturday. If work is slow, my boss lets us cut out early because there's no one coming in behind us, and there's just no point in sitting there twiddling thumbs just for the sake of getting paid. We get paid anyways. So like last night, I actually got off work at almost 2.
Nice.
Right? So instead of 5:30, I got home at 2, and I fell asleep around 4. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 7 hours. Had I gotten to bed at my normal 5:30, 6 o'clock, this probably would be a much later episode. But yeah, that's the downside. And it has been catching up to me. But it does mean that I've been able to actually get on and stream on the weekends because that's now my stay awake.
Yep. Yeah, you've actually got enough followers, and if you can keep this up, consistency for affiliate.
Yeah. Which leads to a whole nother set of issues.
Right.
Right? Especially with what we're doing here. But again, that's later on in the episode.
On the next episode of What the Fuck Are We Talking About?
The fuck did I just buy? Oh,
I don't know. That's one of our new segments.
Yep. I think that's it for life stories for me.
We spent the morning getting jabbed. So all of our girls, the wives, the mother-in-law, and I got our flu vaccines today.
You went and got your flu shot today?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the missuses, as teachers, were able to get their Pfizer booster shot as well.
Oh, that happened today as well?
Yep.
Oh, boy.
So expect tomorrow to be a miserable day.
I didn't know they were doing that right away. I knew it was
they qualified.
It was approved. Yeah,
and they walked in and they're like, "You want it? You have the date for it."
Nice.
You know, they were gonna actually give me mine if I wanted it there, but it turns out I'm 2 days shy.
Womp womp.
Yeah. So maybe Wednesday or Thursday I will go get it. But
okay. Well, maybe I'll go with you then and get my flu shot. I know my work is kind enough to do the flu shot yearly.
Nice.
So the wife was had mentioned to me that they were going and doing it today, and if I wanted to wake up early enough, I could go do it with them as well. And it's like I don't know if I'm getting up that early, but my work does provide them yearly, so I know that's coming up at some point in time. I will get my flu shot.
Nice.
But yeah, I didn't know they were just doling out the boosters. I'm not.
Well, you have to be like it right now. I think it's for qualified frontline workers and teachers.
Yeah, but you said they had offered it to you. Was it just for the sake you were sitting there?
Well, I was with a teacher, so they assumed.
Right. Okay.
So I have no problem with that assumption.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a qualified frontline worker, at least, and not in that sense.
No, I said to the missus, like, you know what? I'm not in a rush to get the booster, not because I don't, want it or see the value in it, but because I'm not frontline. I'd rather someone else take it first if there's a shortage or anything.
Sure.
So being that I wasn't able to get it today, we'll see, what actually happens and the availability for it.
Definitely. And
then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and again, I would rather have it go to people that have to have it than those that want to have it. And I mean, personally, I'd rather have it to those that don't want to have it.
Right.
That's if we're being honest here.
Mm-hmm.
We did just have one of my coworkers return from his co-vacation.
Yeah. I had a coworker. Thankfully, she was fully vaccinated, but it took her out of commission for about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. And my coworker was also vaccinated. It took him, it knocked him down for 2.
Yeah.
But he kept testing positive for another 5 or 6 days until the actual virus was out of his system, which is, it's just real silly because he's like, I feel fine. To which we go, that's what the vaccine is for.
Right.
Like, yeah, he had one day of bad symptoms and one night where he was legitimately worried because he started to get the shortness of breath. And he says, but then he woke up the next morning and was like, okay, that was it. Cool.
Yeah, I think my coworker, we sent her some chicken soup from a local deli. And that was enough
As you do,
to,
right?
And that was kind of the just a little bit that she needed to, you know, do that, kind of be self-contained and go from there. So, and that's my little one.
Yep.
Are you going to come visit? Hi.
Hi.
Hi, come say hi. Say hi.
You girls off to the farm?
Hi. This is my little Ewok, my little Maya papaya.
Boy, she knows where that camera is, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah, always. Always knows. All right. Bye-bye. Go play at the farm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Want to go climb on the pumpkins?
About to get Mama Butt on the camera.
Oh, yeah, baby. Go get that mama butt. Bye-bye, my papaya. It's okay. Bye. Mwah. Mwah. So, yeah, that's my little one. For those that are lucky enough to see her.
Yep, that's one of the joys of tuning in live is you get that that kind of content.
Right. Yeah, I keep that on the YouTube.
Right.
But so right now we've seen your oldest, mine. We'll do an episode at some point, I'm sure, where your youngest will walk in.
She hasn't been on camera yet, has she?
Yeah.
It's a matter of time.
Just a matter of time. And we've seen both of the missus's butts on screen. So.
Oh, man. Hold on. Oh.
All right. Oh, you're switching over to the coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mama Bear was nice enough to try and get us coffee, but it turns out that the coffee orders were all messed up. Also turns out that Nate here already had coffee, so...
Already bought coffee. I hadn't actually finished it.
So, fire-worthy whiskey and lattes and other coffees and things like that. So, it's going to be an interesting day.
You definitely want to stay away from the back end of this cannon.
Right? And we're just going to let it flow. Let it go. And that was just a statement. That was not any kind of singing. So I don't want to fight with you, Mouse, because you'll win. All right. What else we got going on?
Well, the one nice thing about, again, working the hours that I've been working is a lot of times the end of my night gets very, very slow. So I've been doing a lot of mobile gaming.
Yeah, you got your rig with you?
I do somewhere. I thought
You got your OtterBox camera holder or a phone holder and
Yeah, there it is. We're gonna do some product shots on this later on today, I think.
oh,
But yeah, when I was at PAX, OtterBox had a booth there, and they were demoing this little nifty contraption. And now this is a Note, so one of the bigger phones on the market. Drops in there.
you're not on the stream with it. You're just literally playing with your crotch on screen.
So yeah, I've been getting a lot of gaming in on my slow nights with this little device.
You were able to do some trials with it, weren't you?
I was actually able to do some trials with it. I was legitimately surprised at the lack of latency, or at least how much of it had an effect on PvP. So, let's put that right back down here. But yeah, no, I've been keeping up with the story missions. God, my glasses are all fogging up. It is so hot in here. I don't know why.
Well, it is 90-something outside.
Yeah.
We're in here with one air vent, high ceilings, and all the doors shut so that we don't get visitors.
Right. Which I think they are all gone at this. No, they're on their way out.
I can still hear them.
Cool.
They're
But yeah,
herding the cats.
I've been able to keep track of all the story beats. I've been going through and just doing the general day-to-day grind.
Nice.
And then the last night I was like, I wonder, because I played a little bit of Trials last weekend on my phone, and it was kind of I don't know if it was the way the game mode was working or anything like that. It just I was just getting outplayed on a fairly regular basis. So last night when I signed in, I actually was contributing to my team more than I was expecting to. Got 4 kills, had a 4-0 KD. Yeah, and we pretty much won our match, and it took a little bit of adjustment. There was a couple of times where I ended up having my my head out in a sniping range, a sniping lane, before I realized that my head was stuck out in a sniping lane, and a couple of milliseconds of lag is enough for someone just to hone in on my dome. And
I have to say, like, Bungie has done a good job with trying to address cheaters and what happens between the different latencies and capabilities of different systems. They still have a while to go, but the sheer drastic improvements in just this little bit of time made it so that you could even be competitive in the first place.
Well, I remember a lot of people, they chuckled at Stadia. I was a founder on that for a long time and loved the tech. The only reason I switched away from it was Xbox's cloud offering much more compelling. The pricing model was Stadia's downfall, not the tech itself.
And this is not just because he's got the Microsoft chip vaccine.
Right.
Vaccine chip
Yes,
inserted.
this is not my 5G. But where was I going with this?
Better quality of the...
No. When cross-play was announced, they had said that Stadia players would go into the console pool, and a lot of people went, poor Stadia, they're just never gonna, they don't have a shot against anyone on a console because of the latency issues. And to that I say, if Stadia was better than xCloud, and I've been playing on xCloud doing competitive PvP, and I'm no worse, if not maybe a little bit of better after some adjustment, like after I compensate for some latency in my, in my anticipation of my playtime, I'm every bit as good on mobile, and the latency is negligible for me. So if someone's really good on Stadia, they should not have any issues with playing playing competitive.
Definitely.
Yep.
Well, what other news is out there? Well, your hat kind of brings up something. TwitchCon will officially be back in 2022.
October of 2022, which that's a little bit different. I think it's normally in September. So
they'll have San Diego, and then where's the Europe one this year?
Amsterdam.
Nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're doing a booth out of the in the Amsterdam one. Although it would be nice, And
by we mean Guardians MH.
Yes.
Not Debuff Dad and the Whiskey Podcast.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever have a booth at a convention like that.
And if we do,
one can hope.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll be doing. Like, our booth will just be us with a couple bottles of stuff and a bunch of glasses, I guess.
That might violate some convention rules.
I didn't say bottles of what.
Right. But I'm. Already talked to the wife about that. Let her know that these things were coming back up, and I don't know. I think we're planning on having Guardians MH is planning on having a booth at TwitchCon.
Yeah.
But either way.
Well, I know, and Guardians MH is going to New York Comic Con.
Yes. Yeah, we actually just did announce that as well. So, but that one's easy for them because the two of the directors are New York, upstate New York, and New Jersey based.
Right.
So that's a quick hop over. One of the biggest problems we had with PAX West was shipping all of the convention materials all the way across the country for them. So yeah, we're in talks about having a West Coast kit and an East Coast kit that'll float around between the handful of us that are out here, because there's me, the programmer, iRes, and I want to say there's at least one mod on the West Coast.
And I'm out here.
And you're out here, obviously.
I'm out here. Yeah.
Yes.
Just pointing that out there.
Obviously, you're out here. Obviously, you're out here. You're sitting right next to me.
Well, people could be just listening. Who knows?
That's true. We are in the same room. But yeah, so there's a handful of us out here on the West Coast. So if we wanted to do another PAX West or any of the West Coast conventions or even Vegas, we would have a kit ready to go, either put on a plane or put in a car, that wouldn't be too hard to do.
Definitely. And, just taking this moment, shout out to Gamer Girl Gray right now on Twitch, who is, independently took it upon herself to start doing a GMH fundraiser.
Yeah, 48-hour stream.
Last I looked, was over 3,000 raised in just like 3 or 4 hours. So.
Right. Yeah, that's always, we love seeing people come in and do charitable stuff, especially when it's off the cuff like that. It always
it shows that
us.
People see the value of this, and it's what it's worth for everyone in the space. And so that's huge.
Yep. Yeah, and apparently this was someone we met from a convention contact. So there is value to going to these, and the organization understands that. So yeah, we're definitely going to be trying to do more and more of those. I think the next one that we're actively pushing for is obviously GCX.
Right.
So, but we'll see how that. No word on whether that's happening or where we are in that realm.
Yeah, and the GCX group has to figure out kind of what they want to do.
Right.
They took a gamble, and props to them for that gamble. And it wasn't their fault that it didn't pay out. It was, a lot of failures on their host side.
Yeah.
But I think, A, it's an interesting model going forward. And B, there's a lot of things that have changed. Speaking of those changes, and this was something you were leading into at the beginning, why don't we talk about YouTube and Twitch and what's going on there?
Sure. Twitch has had and we say this as we're broadcasting to Twitch.
And YouTube.
As I'm wearing the hat, right? But yeah, there's a reason we started kind of shifting some of that content over. Like we made a concerted effort and using a service called Restream.io, which I'd used before. We're doing a multicast to both services. Now, the reason for that is not that we're worried about Twitch just up and disappearing. It's not going away anytime soon. But they've made some... Oh, it's not that they haven't made some very clear necessary changes. And it is really starting to...
They became very comfortable in the environment that existed, especially when Mixer disappeared and they announced that they had won the streaming wars. And needless to say, Facebook and YouTube and others, I think, are still actively innovating. And innovation is huge. For my 2 cents, the ability to restream and then have YouTube live stuff immediately become part of our YouTube content library.
Right.
And all this make it a little bit more discoverable. Makes it easier for us as, people starting off that are just trying to get the word out of, what we're trying to do and how we're trying to help. That much easier and more accessible.
Right.
Than Twitch's model of, promote the big guys.
What I find amusing is, in the reason we're doing Restream is I actually have been using them for, 2+ years. when I first started streaming, because I didn't have a foothold on any one platform, so why not stream to all of them? So at one point in time, I was streaming to Twitch, to Mixer, to Facebook, and to YouTube all simultaneously, and just kind of letting the the money ride and see if any of them took hold and started to take off. And back then, the biggest issue I had with Facebook and YouTube was, obviously, and now it's a bigger deal now, is the DMCA stuff.
Right.
I used to stream, and then I'd keep a Spotify playlist or whatnot, a little soundtrack at half volume in the background of my stream, that music I was listening to while I was gaming. And as soon as I went live, man, the email started popping up from Facebook. Your takedown request, DMCA, and it's like, all right, I can't. At that point, there weren't a lot of royalty-free or stream-friendly platforms out there because Twitch didn't care.
Yeah.
Right, and that was the big fish. So until that became an issue, nobody really offered a whole lot of options. A lot of the independent labels still kept their, they were just like, well, we're just going to keep doing our stuff, until it became a marketing point. So yeah, I stopped streaming to Facebook, and I stopped streaming to YouTube because I just couldn't put content out there without it immediately getting struck down.
Yeah, such as, for example, your Gandalf sax.
Right. Well, that's the world we are in now, where Twitch started actively enforcing it, and Mixer, well, we all know what happened to Mixer. They up and vanished like a fart in the wind. So at that point, I just stopped using Restream because I wasn't streaming to any of the other platforms. And started to get a little bit of a foothold over on Twitch. But again, their lack of doing things and their lack of providing tools has really started to push creators to look out into other options.
Well, I think what you just said there is a huge point, though, is just the word creator. For the longest time, Mixer and Twitch and all these other platforms was for gamers.
Right.
We are in a situation where gaming might be something we do, but that's secondary to, the goal of the first place, what we're trying to do with Debuff Dad and the Whiskey Podcast and things like that, of helping people and creating that community of support, outside of the gaming world. That just happens to be something we all share.
Oh, I mean, I have 60 some odd podcasts that I cycle through in a week, and I would say of those, 5 of them don't have some sort of alternative media counterpart to that.
Yeah.
So 60 of them are actively doing what we're doing, which is live streaming to some sort of platform while they're recording their podcasts.
And so with the idea of a creators trying other avenues, I give props because, it's YouTube gaming and Facebook gaming, but they've put those tools out in general to allow for more active content, regardless of intent, than Twitch, which was 100% all about games. And, you could do that IRL and now your hot tub stream.
Right.
And, I signed into Twitch yesterday, and there was a girl in a ridiculously low-cut scarf, dress top, and it was the ASMR channel. And just had a mic in front of her and was just talking like this the entire time.
Oh, there was another one that,
and things like that. I'm like, what?
Twitch, Twitch, we don't want inappropriate content, and one of the more popular and more controversial at this point Twitch streamers was literally sitting there in the ASMR channel licking the microphone. Like,
should we try that now?
But no,
I don't think that'll go over the same way.
I don't think it would. But I don't know. The platform's
this
definitely
stuff is still strong. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oof. Heaven's door. It takes a lick and it keeps
Heaven
on
help
kicking.
me. Yeah. Heaven help me. There's a reason I didn't go back for a second glass.
You're right. Carry on.
You
Don't
totally
lick the mic.
You totally derailed me. Platform tools. There's
No licking mic.
Stop it. God. But yeah, Twitch isn't really enabling their creator community a lot of ways to properly moderate. Right now, the biggest thing that's going on is marginalized, here's my stammer, marginalized communities, persons of color, females, LGBTQ, those communities are getting targeted and hate rated by...
Yeah, so do we talk hate rates last...
I don't think we really got into it.
So why don't we bring that up?
Mm-hmm.
Because...
it has a gaming, it has a gaming tie to it, and we're both gamers. But there is a bigger thing here that transcends what's going on. It's manifesting in this way with these hate raids, with targeting. But yeah.
So there is an individual. Currently, the belief is it is someone that was in Haas. Forgot the rest of his name. Community who was creating tons of bots and basically going after people that, not just LGBTQ, but people of color, people that supported people of color and, would attack them basically and just fill their chat threads with
epithets and...
and just all sorts of awful things. And then sometimes they would do it when the streamers were offline and then report those streamers.
Right.
Because on Twitch, you are accountable for the contents of your chat, even if you're offline.
Right.
And so this was having huge impacts on people across the board. I know several streamers that got hit multiple times with hundreds of people at once.
Yep.
And the only way they could do anything about it was to end their stream.
Or put it in subscriber-only mode. Yeah, put it in subscriber-only mode.
That they could get around at times.
Yeah. Emote-only mode, subscriber-only mode. Like, you could mitigate it, but you couldn't just... You'd stop... It basically affected your stream. Like, if it happened right now, I would just turn off chat and...
Yeah.
I would just shut down chat and we'd keep recording. Right. But we're not live interacting as much as someone like a game streamer would, or... any other interactive creator. It's like that just shuts down your content.
Exactly. And so, the controversy at this thing is, I want to say, yes, the hate raids are awful and we need to support people, and that's a given. Mm-hmm. The problem, I think, is the lack of adequate tools and response from Twitch.
Right.
Facebook and YouTube have already taken initiatives to figure things out and try and provide resources to prevent that from happening.
Right.
YouTube.
But even and I'm not gonna call out Twitch is the only one. Again, I'm wearing the hat, but it's not that YouTube and Facebook have those tools in place.
It's that it's kind of the old Apple computers are safer than Windows computers. Mm-hmm. Like, well, they're safer because so fewer people compared to Microsoft users were using them, so people weren't creating anything that could target it. Well, that's kind of the same situation we have right now with Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. It's not that YouTube or Facebook are small entities. It's that the live aspect of those entities is so immature.
It's not worth. Yeah, it's not worth the effort.
Yeah, it's not worth the effort to develop sort of this, system, because you're not going to get the same sort of response and reaction and whatever it is.
Right.
And so, are they more secure? Probably not, but they don't have the same, target.
But it does afford them the opportunity to learn and adapt, because they now have a head start of, we're not getting into, like, we don't have the manure falling on our head and we're trying to figure it out. We now can figure it out so that when the manure comes.
Yeah. So that's one aspect of things that's currently on top of everything else with Twitch. Another one is honestly the content creator revenue share. I have seen quite a few people that are leaving Twitch for YouTube or Facebook or other platforms entirely.
Well, they just lost arguably their number one creator, Tim the Tatman, and their most popular creator in Dr. Lupo.
Yeah, I mean, especially in our circles. Yeah, I mean, there's the top 10, which don't include either of them.
Right.
As far as people that watch, people that stream. But, at the same time, YouTube's willing to put their money where their mouth is and get them over there and entice them with more than just money.
Right.
And the revenue share and the different opportunities at these different platforms create different environments. And I think that's a huge conversation. And I'll kind of paraphrase Harris Heller in this, in the fact that, if you are going into a town and everyone is a, burger joint, what is the value you're adding of being another burger joint?
Right.
So if you're going over to these other platforms, there's other opportunities for you to build a business you want and get paid for it, rather than the one-size-fits-all approach of, do it this way and, luck and skill and endurance on Twitch and get what you want.
Right.
And
I will say,
I grow on Twitch without doing all these other media sources.
Right.
Well, Facebook and YouTube kind of have that built in.
Well, a lot of Twitch streamers' current successes are parlayed through these other services already. Like when you do your clips and VODs and everything like that, where do you post them?
Right.
Like, the retention level on Twitch for that content, it just isn't there. So you put it out on Twitter. You put it out on, you put your small clips on Twitter. You put your small clips on TikTok. You put your longer clips on YouTube. You post your entire VODs over on YouTube, and they stay there forever.
Right.
So, and again, so that's, Twitch not having the tools. There's one thing I will say about both Tim and Lupo that was common between both of them when they left. One, it was, YouTube gave them, finger quotes, life-changing money, to which I don't think that's ever been released yet, and I don't really care if it does.
They shouldn't release that, but the fact that they are in a position of knowing the values of their content creators and not this platform's better.
But the commonality between both of them was both had said, the deals that we made allow us to spend time with our children and spend time with our families. And again, us being dads, that it really resonated with me.
Well, let's use Lupo as an example. We know him personally from where he started,
right,
to where he is now, and he probably wouldn't recognize us from anyone at this point, but we've seen the journey,
right.
What Lupo has right now and what he was doing on Twitch was quite literally our time, 7 or 8 a.m. till 3 or 4 p.m., break for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then back for at least another 2 or 3 hours, if not more.
Right.
Daily.
And
maybe I think he would take Wednesdays off and Sunday.
Yeah, he started off with just Wednesdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
And then started taking a few more days off. I mean, his son is growing up. I'm again, we've known him long enough that he didn't have a son the first time that we played
He
with
was
him.
still in a 9 to 5.
Right. He was still working, doing his thing.
He had
and
an
then
episode recently where he was talking about, he has fear. Like, his nightmares are going back to a 9 to 5 because he knows what kind of impact that would have on his life.
Right.
So the fact that they are able to create content, and part of that is because, again, their content has that much more push and value on those platforms than just that. Ad revenue is significantly more on YouTube and Facebook compared to Twitch. And that's just the nature of how those business models work. They've got evergreen content that could potentially keep going for years, if not decades, after they stop. if that's something that's of interest to them.
Right, and that and their monetization tools, for what it's worth, are friendly to the creator, because the creator is the one putting up the content. Yes, it does. Everyone will always argue, well, why does Twitch have to take money at all? Well, they maintain
their business.
Right. They maintain the infrastructure. They maintain the servers. They maintain everything that it takes to give you the path to create your content.
Right.
What's the number value on that is what's in debate.
Well, and people are fighting that now. And recent news, Stream Elements, for example, just got something like $10 million or more. I don't know the numbers offhand, so don't quote me on this. Don't at me. A huge investment that they're immediately turning around to try and support.
Alternate avenues of monetization.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think when Streamlabs immediately said, hey, you can do a reoccurring subscription to your favorite streamer, and they get all the revenue from it.
And it's not to say that those tools weren't out there. I mean, Patreon's been around
forever. In fact, I've already switched on 3 of our key streamers that I follow to their Patreon directly rather than their Twitch, because, oh no, I don't have their emotes.
Right.
They don't necessarily care.
Right.
And yeah, their emotes are fun, and it was a cool way to interact in that community. But
and it's a good way to share that, you give someone else's emote in someone's chat, and it's, again, oh, that's a really cool emote. Where'd that come from? Oh, it's from this streamer, blah, blah.
Right.
But again, we've seen streamers go, don't use other people's emotes in my channel, get the hell out of here, ban, kick. So that's a personal issue. But yeah, if you're going to support a content creator, I'm not doing it for their emotes. I'm doing it because I legitimately care about the content that they're doing. I've been a longtime subscriber to Danfinity, who you're wearing the shirt for.
Yep.
And I remember one day I came into his chat and I see all these emotes with his face on them. I'm like, where'd these come from? And he's like, dude, I've had these in my chat for like 4 months. And it's like, oh, okay. Right. I'm not doing it for the emotes. I'm not doing it for anything. I'm not even doing it for clout.
You did it all for the nookie, huh?
I did it all for the nookie. But,
or the Wookie.
Yes. But yeah, because I care to support that creator.
Sorry, I just finished the what a burn. Continue.
You have your latte behind
did it all
you
for the creator.
Yeah, but so there are other ways to do that without being part of the Twitch ecosystem. So those are starting to come into. Stream Elements is giving you alternate way of doing bits and tips and monthly recurrings, and
Patreon has been out there for a while. Merchandise is huge. I've made a point.
Well, the biggest difference with where Stream Elements and Streamlabs have come in is now you can start integrating it into your streams. Right. That's the one thing that like all the other existing services don't have.
And I've made a point of I want to use our community in such a way that I can give back to them.
Right.
So our artwork is from people that we support and
Exactly.
love as part of our community. We're probably going to go out for some music or intro things like that in the near future. Well, we know who we're going to go to because they're part of our community.
Right. Our existing intro music as a community member.
Exactly.
So,
and for the podcast at least, yeah. And so again, for us, it's about how do we help fuel the ecosystem and the creative community that we're a part of. Because we're not big fish in any capacity, and I don't think we really have an intent of trying to be big influencers. Our intent across the board is how do we help and support others through what we've done, and just hang out and chill with people that we appreciate and appreciate us, and that is something that I think we have the unique opportunity of doing in an environment when we're not tied to a single platform where everyone has to homogenize to succeed. And so, we see a lot of things, sputter up and then disappear again, like Clubhouse. That may be something that still exists, but it doesn't have anywhere near the fanfare that it had for a while.
Right.
Twitter for the longest time has struggled. I don't know financially if they're still having issues, but that's become a staple for so many people. Instagram is huge.
I still shocks me how huge Instagram is.
Dude, TikTok. I can't stand the idea of it, but it is massive.
Right.
I watched an entire Gartner, who is one of the big consulting groups, have an entire how to use TikTok and what the value is for your organization. Okay, when a big 6 consulting company is talking about TikTok as a platform, okay, shit, we should probably take that seriously. And I don't mean spending more time on it, Uncle Talk. But it's true. It's how do you engage with the people that are your target? I don't think TikTok is our target audience, but it could be something that we have fun playing with at some point.
I don't know. I mean, my algorithm has worked its way around to, there's a lot of dads.
Dude, your algorithm is working its way all right.
Yes. But there are a lot of dads and a lot of dad content on there and not just dad joke content.
And this is a apparently mocha latte that is iced and melted from the local Starbucks.
But yeah, so again, much like we've done, we're kind of diversifying, putting the content out there. Sure, we would take the episodes we have now and clean them up, produce them a little bit, and then post them over to YouTube. I guess that just, you saved yourself about 3 hours of work.
I'll still do that. I'll still, we'll have our live VODs, which I think offer a little bit more before and after, what's going on, a little more coordination. But, when I clean this up, it's not going to have the chat overlay that you're going to get in a live experience. It's going to be a lot more of a,
Gotcha.
A listening experience and that sort of thing. And, we're both going to, I think, restream here. And so if for whatever reason you want to see 2 rather mediocre at best dads game, you can watch that VOD as part of our content.
Right.
If you want to see the tools that we're using or the things that we're buying our kids and regretting immediately, there'll be a place for that. If you just want to understand how we're making it through the day, you'll have a place for that. But that's what we're offering. We're not offering, extreme mediocre gameplay, as Lupo likes to brand. So speaking of gaming, what kind of gaming news we got out there?
I actually have not been able to keep track of it because I'm sleeping through most of the news cycles now. By the time it comes out, I'm already late to the game. The only thing I know that's currently going on is I guess there's another Halo Infinite beta going on.
Yeah, and this is for an interesting gameplay mode called Battlegrounds, I guess?
I'm not sure.
But it's a large-scale team versus team EVP, which legitimately, from the clips I've seen, sound fun, but I now know of 3 or 4 other people that have had their entire system, crash after playing the beta. So take it with a grain of salt. New World from Amazon, the game that has kept on delaying, is supposed to officially launch on Tuesday. And as of this point, there's been nothing saying otherwise. And normally, I'll give Amazon credit. They will let you know in advance when they're like, yeah, we're not going to make it. But this one legitimately sounds like they're going live on Tuesday.
Nice.
So, if anyone wants in, I have already pre-bought the game. I will be playing on the East Coast servers with the Ladybugger and Dog Pound community. So I will post some of that info up once I know what it actually is. But yeah, I don't. It's a nice multiplayer game that I think progression-wise gives you an opportunity to make an impact without having to know life on it. Right. And that's about where I am in my life at this point.
Yeah, and that's, that leads right into, obviously, we're both, Destiny fans.
Yeah.
Changes that have just been made in that game type, like the last 2 weeks have just been muck and mired with talks of the changes to their end game PvP mode.
Yeah, so they had a highly competitive, quote unquote, PvP mode called, they're calling it Trials of Osiris in Destiny 2. I still remember Trials of the Nine from Destiny 1. And long story short, it would provide unique opportunities if you were able to go flawless, if you were able to, complete a certain amount of games and win the matches out of them, etc. And it was
five round 3v3 elimination.
Right. And each match would count as one game.
Right, best of 5.
Yeah.
And the object is to go 7 wins in a row without being defeated. Yeah. And that takes you to the lighthouse, where you get the best of all the gear.
Cool armor, cool weapons, etc. The problem was, for the longest time, was that it was skill-based matchmaking, but it really wasn't. So they stopped doing it. They went straight connection-based matchmaking, based on the matchmaking was then based off your card, where you were in your 1 through 7 wins. And so you'd get people that were insanely capable or cheaters that would be able to wipe out your entire team, and all of your progress and efforts would be for nothing.
Right.
And, people had no interest in playing. And so you get the people that were either so extreme or cheating that was what the community was, and so no one bothered to participate in it.
Right.
So
there was also no matchmaking. So not only did you, if you wanted to play the mode, you had to have 2 other friends that were willing to just sit and grind it out with you for the length of this, dealing with the ultra competitive, ultra skilled community and the ultra cheating community. Right. Yeah. For someone at my level, there was no point. I was never I would never get to a point where I would even get a sniff of the rewards. And a lot of that had to do with player population.
Yeah, and to put things in perspective, we were talking about Dr. Lupo before. We met Dr. Lupo when he was helping new players, or not new players, but mediocre average players like us get this level of gameplay in
Trials
the
carries.
Original Destiny.
Yep. I have 1 lighthouse, and that is credited to Lupo and Ninja with no L.
I have 2. One with Lupo and Ninja with no L, and one to
was it Ramblin'?
No, it was Manchma and
Zontan.
Zontan.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it, because it took those kind of again, you had to have a pre-foreign fire team, and you were going up against the best of the best.
Yep.
So yeah, short of being just straight up carried, there was no way I was doing it. And then once you got the PC cheating pool involved, there was just no point. Because even the best of the best couldn't get, they were having trouble getting flawlesses against cheaters, yeah. Instantaneous supers, infinite revives,
track you through walls,
right? Wall hacks, ammo hacks. Yeah, what was the whole point?
So the recent changes have been interesting, because first they signed with, who was it? BattleEye,
yeah.
BattleEye anti-hack, anti-cheat. And so that's kind of cleaned up some of the low-hanging fruit.
Right. One of my favorite stats coming out of the first weekend of trials, post BattleEye and post crossplay, was somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,000 accounts saw their KDs drop by over 2 points.
Yep.
In the first day. And those were all the cheaters, because they were sitting up there with 15.0, 16.0 KDs, because you just couldn't beat them.
Right.
Right. Now they had to play by the rules.
And then they still managed to ban, people always complain about it, and they're valid, but at the same time, we were looking at hundreds, if not low thousands, of, bans account as a result of this, from them actively, utilizing the metrics.
Right.
And seeing it firsthand.
Yep.
You know, I think we've talked in the past about that one streamer who will interview cheaters.
Right.
And, you know, some of those people, like major players, had their accounts banned. And it's like, no, we don't talk about this in detail, but you were found of cheating. We have proof that you were cheating. Your account is no longer valid. You tried to work your way around a ban. Mm-hmm. We still have the proof.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, we have hardware IDs. We have there's so many ways that your account could be tracked. But yeah, so those went away, and and a lot of people were complaining because that was literally their income. Mm-hmm. Right. You know, recoveries is good business.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and
it goes back to WoW Gold.
Yeah,
and people will pay to get that cool item or that currency that they don't have the time or energy to.
Right, or the skill. Mm-hmm. It's three things: time, energy, or skill. And personally, I guess I don't have a big issue with the recoveries on that. You know, if you're willing to put in the work,
yeah,
and someone's willing to pay you to put in that work, more power to you. Now, if you're willing to, if you're going to cheat to do that, that's where I draw the line.
Right.
Because not only are you gaming the system, you're ruining someone else's time, and then you subject that your paid customer to potential ban, mm-hmm. or disciplinary action for whatever, in the process of doing it. Now, and I get it. You're trying to maximize your workflow. If I can cheat and get 10 accounts done in one day, that's a lot better than having to do it the real way and only getting 2 accounts done per day.
But like I go to like the EVE Online model when mm-hmm. it comes to that. Like you could buy game time and sell that game time for in-game currency to people that were making that in-game currency. Mm-hmm. So like there is a real dollar amount tied to what that currency is valued. I mean, there's a U.S. dollars to
an exchange rate.
Exchange rate. Thank you. That's tied to it. But you know what? If I have a full-time job and I want to just be able to play, and so I'm willing to spend mm-hmm. an extra $20 to be able to participate, and someone else doesn't have time or doesn't have a time constraint and they're limited on what they want to do, mm-hmm. I am more than happy to make that exchange as long as it doesn't break the game.
Right.
And so there's a number of people out there now that are legitimately player and game economics specialists that are doing the math of how do we make this in-game currency a legitimate currency.
Right.
And when you start looking at blockchain and all that, it starts getting way too above my pay grade.
Right.
But like there's an enormous value that we're suddenly seeing for that. And so the fact that we've got these
this goes back to World of Warcraft and
right.
even the EverQuest days.
Before that.
Yeah, like where you could literally
pay a gold farmer.
Pay a gold farmer, or pay people to drop their equipment.
Yeah. But where this comes back to Destiny is, recovery and all these other things. What Bungie decided to do with this is instead of saying, "Oh, okay, throwing money at it is not what we want to do. We want to keep the game intact, mm-hmm. but we'd rather you have more capability to play the game that you're already paying for."
Right.
And I think that shift is huge. Yeah, the ultra extreme people are always going to complain, but they're not the ones paying the bills.
Right.
Do you want an ultra extreme mode? I don't think I've ever there's not a competitive Destiny 2 environment. That's not an esport that's taken off.
Right.
If you want that, there's still Rainbow Six and
COD and
Call of Duty and things like that have been going on for decades, mm-hmm. that are still competitive and still relevant because of. I mean, there's still people that play Halo.
Oh, sure.
For competitive PvP, and there's esport tournaments around it. Like, that's huge.
And that's one of my biggest things, especially coming out of the Destiny community, is like, well, we just want a mode where we can be competitive. You understand that the game has private matches, mm-hmm. right? Set those up.
Yeah.
We used to do that in D1. When private matches came out, people would set up brackets and tournaments.
Yeah. No, there was a push for a while, and I'm not sure how much of this is public, so I'll keep it high level. But Destiny 2 considered allowing the ability for people to stream and, spectate matches.
Right.
It was decided eventually not to go like full stream ahead with it because of the hardware impacts that it was doing at the time.
Yeah, the server requirements for that were ridiculous.
You still have the capability of setting up real competitions with it if you want to handle it. But Destiny and Bungie don't see that as one of their core values.
No.
And you know what? That's okay.
Right.
I went to BlizzCon for 12 years, and you would see the people doing the professional PvP battles and their ultra competitive things and the raid races and things like that. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's not what I'm interested in.
Right.
That wasn't anything that ever gripped me, and I don't see myself ever wanting to get to that level.
Yeah, I forget. I was at Staples Center for some reason, and they happened to have the League of Legends tournament going on at the Microsoft Center across the street, and just like huge. And they had
and they're massive, and I love
the
watching
big screen
them.
TVs. And I'm looking up at the game. I go, cool.
Yeah, and I love watching them, but that's not something I feel the need to compete at. And guess what? There's a lot more people like me than there are at that competitive level. It's just like football or baseball or anything like that. I love watching other people, play a game capability that's far above anything I could ever achieve. And I admire their talent and I admire their capabilities, but I know it's not something I could do.
Right.
I always go back to, I want to say it was the either the U.S. Open or Wimbledon or something, where the guy was, where some guy in the stands was yelling at one of the players. And so they eventually stopped the match, pulled the guy down on the field, made him wear the leggings and skirt that the girls had to wear playing tennis, and then had him try and compete at their level. And he was a sport. He played along. Props to all of them for doing it well. But no, I'm good. I realize the value and the talent and capability that goes into someone at that level playing. That would I have made current decisions? Yeah, with my 2020, vision backwards and my knowledge of it not actually being something that my opinion is relevant for. Go right ahead. I will armchair quarterback, just to talk shit. But I'm never in anywhere going to compete at a, junior varsity level, much less pro player level.
Sure. But so they let's circle this back around. Yeah, they opened up matchmaking. They opened up the mode to a lot more players. Just to I guess boost the population and see if that made the mode viable. And to the people on the lower echelon, myself included, it's been great to just be able to get into the playlist. But now the argument is the achievement of getting that 7-0 win is diminished because the player pool is diluted with less skilled competition.
Us scrubs, yes.
Right. And so it's like you just can't win, right?
Well, and I mean, there's never the goal of appeasing everyone, and this has always been the, any person who sells something's objective is how do I get the most people in my community satisfied with the result,
right?
And I give props to Bungie in this case because they are listening to both sides and trying to create a happy medium. But they're also not caving to one side or another because, again, their game is not based on that need for the competitiveness. We know plenty of streamers that have had their entire success built on just PvE,
right?
Not player versus player in any capacity. So, we winding down
the economies of streaming.
Yep.
Right. And again, that being the case, don't put all your eggs in one basket if you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the case of the two streamers we had mentioned, they made life-changing deals with the platforms that they're on that allow them to not work as hard because they've already put in the work.
Right.
And YouTube saw the value of the community they created, the product they created, and that product being themselves.
Yeah, and the brand.
And the brand, right, that now allows them to take a day off, to not have to, you know, in Lupo's case, not have to stream 7 to 3, then pick it up again from 6 until 11 at night. Mm-hmm. Every night. He gets to spend time with his son. He gets to spend time with his wife. Tim said the same thing. I know very little about Tim.
Yeah.
But, you know, apparently, like, he was having struggles as well because the amount of work it took to maintain that revenue stream on Twitch.
And I also think, like, circling back to who we are, what we're trying to do, this is very telling of where we are as a society, finally. Mm-hmm. You know, the fact that your own well-being and your own capabilities is important. And the whole, you know, sacrifice everything for the grind isn't the best way.
Right.
You know, we're seeing, like right now with this current COVID and, you know, post-lockdown world where people are saying, like, you know what? I'm not going to do this dangerous or, you know, self-deprecating work for less than a minimum wage.
Right.
And you're seeing people across the board. It's like my value is worth more. And I think with that shift and with the shift in priorities, we're suddenly seeing new opportunities and new growth for people.
Yep.
That wasn't around in the past. And so are there going to be people that throw hissy fits? Of course. The entire society and, you know, everything we know to this day has been built on taking advantage of other people as a society.
Sure.
But
well, I mean, when your entire education system, the structure of the timing of it is built around the corporate policies and break structure.
Yep.
Right.
You know, and we're starting to see those changes happen. And, you know, I'm interested to see where that goes because I'm happy with the idea that I got to be home and raise my family. Yeah. I'm happy to see, you know, the entertainment
There
unions.
are so many jobs that I've had coming up that would not have required me to go into an office every day. That just wasn't, like, it wasn't possible at the time that I had those jobs. Now it is. But there's that old school mentality of, well, if you're not coming into the office every day and I can't have my thumb on you.
Yep.
Right. That's gone. That was absolutely obliterated by 2020.
There. It's still there, but I think it's a lot, you know, the value that it had, people are realizing the benefits of it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the big shift.
Right.
So.
And then you got stuff like what I do now. There's no way I could do, like, there's no physical way for me to do my job from home.
There's always going to be jobs that require you to be in person. There's always going to be activities that require a group of people in the room to solve them. Mm-hmm. You know, and there's nothing wrong with those. It's just saying that's not the only way.
Right.
You know, I know people that thrive 1,000% better when they're able to go into an office with other people.
Sure.
And I know other people, myself included, that I'm like, just let me do my thing and I'm fine.
Right.
So, shall we wind down?
I think we shall wind down.
All right. Well then, from episode 31 of the Whiskey Podcast, I'm Chudata.
I am Nate Fu.
And peace out.